AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Every Tuesday, we visit with Larry Holder, theathletic.com/New Orleans. Good enough to join us as the Saints now coming off their bye. Larry, thanks for the time as always. How are you?
I'm good, Matthew. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. What did you do without any Saints football on Sunday?
I paid attention to the rest of the league and saw some pretty interesting and revealing football.
Such as?
I'd say I'm becoming a believer in the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
I think that Arizona's for real. And I always feel like Arizona kind of teases me. They could be good and then they kind of fall off the map. And, I think that they're a team that is not going to fade. And I think that's something I definitely would not have said going into the season.
So the Saints got a chance to kick up their feet, get healthy, and now they head to Seattle as a road favorite on Monday Night Football. The big question is going to be, who are they going to have with them? I'll get to the players that have been hurt. Let me start with a player that they added in running back Lamar Miller. They're trying to replace Tony Jones, obviously, since his injury. We saw Devin Ozigbo run the ball a bit for the Saints. Is Lamar Miller an option to actually be a factor in this offense?
Depends how you characterize a factor, but it wouldn't surprise me if he got carries. I mean, now if he gets 5 carries, that's 5 less than Kamara gets, and he gets a ton of touches, so I think you need to have some sort of relief for him. But it's been a long time since Lamar Smith has played a lot of football, and, there's a reason why he's been out of the league. And it just goes to show you that even though the Saints didn't necessarily value guys at this point, like Latavius Murray, they didn't value him enough, or Devontae Freeman, now
Murray,
they're basically
present.
1-1. Hey. Boy, that kind of surprised me. I thought we would not have the ball picked up there, but the ball was not dropped there. So
a little bit of a delay. There was a delay there from Muse. He was not ready for it, but he did pick up the ball.
Yeah, that's true. He did pick up the ball, but those guys are playing. I mean, Devontae Freeman. They're basically having 3 sets of carries between Murray and Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell, and so. But still, look, the Saints need a veteran back there, just somebody who can get back there and run the football. And so I think that's that you could see him get carries now, significant carries. I mean, that also, I think, depends on the health of Taysom Hill. Like, if he is not ready to go after his concussion, I think you would see more Lamar Smith. But if Taysom would be ready to go, I think he would maybe take some those running carries, but as a quarterback, of course.
I know you mean Lamar Miller.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
I know. But my question, and this is something I do get a lot, and it's the workload on Alvin Kamara. And they have leaned very heavily on him in the run game. Do you know what Sean Payton values as far as a perfect balance for the number of touches Kamara gets in a game?
I think he'd like to stick to about thought process. They thought they could get him back after 5 weeks, use the bye week, and then he would be ready to go. This just adds to the frustration of the timing of surgery for that ankle, and you can only get him back on the field when he's ready to go. And if he's not ready, he's not ready, and that's just the hand that the Saints have been dealt, and the hand basically Michael Thomas handed to the Saints by opting not to get surgery early enough. So, I think that even when he comes back, though, he's got to have some sort of rapport with Jameis Winston, and they haven't really practiced together outside of, say, last season. And it's not like you were practicing with him all the time. I mean, you were throwing individual routes and things like that. So you hadn't run an offense with him. So I still think it will take time, even when he comes back, to gain some rapport with Jameis Winston.
Let me play, not devil's advocate, I guess devil's advocate to your comment there, but look at a guy like Kenny Stills. He and Jameis had never worked together ever, and he sort of assimilated very quickly. Why is it unrealistic to think that Michael Thomas, as good as he is not going to be able to just step right on the field and revert to form?
Well, I'm not saying he's not going to be able to step right on the field and revert to form, but I think it's more like if you're expecting the synergy like Michael Thomas and Drew Brees had with Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas right away, I think that's not a fair way to look at this outlook. I mean, it's not like he's throwing the ball to Kenny Stills 10 times a game and he's catching it 10 times. Like, that's what you would want from Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston, and to be that dominant number one receiver. And we haven't seen that in a couple of years now. So I think it's still something that, Michael Thomas has got to be comfortable running on that ankle, and they've got to know each other's ticks. And I'm curious to see how quickly they can do that. Now, Jameis Winston might just start targeting Michael Thomas repeatedly, and that wouldn't totally be a stunner to me, but I still think it's going to take a little bit of time even when he returns. Do
you like New Orleans on the road in Seattle? I'm a little early here for any type of pick. Obviously, they haven't even really gotten into full game week yet, but the Saints opened up as a road favorite in Seattle.
That's a little surprising to me, just because maybe you think Seattle might be like a 1-point favorite, but that is a little bit surprising to me. But still, I do think that the Saints should have an edge going up there. Seattle, obviously, the quarterback shift, the passing game isn't what it is without Russell Wilson. Their run game has not been very good either. Jamal Adams hasn't totally played like Jamal Adams lately. So I think even with Russell Wilson, they weren't playing as well. And now you're without him. So that doesn't surprise me, because I think the Saints at this point can get better, where I don't see where Seattle can get better. So I'm not totally shocked that the Saints, in my eyes, go up there and win the game. I am a little bit surprised, though, that they are a road favorite, but who knows how that changes as the week goes.
And not just a favorite, a 5-point road favorite. I mean, this Saints team with all the personnel they're missing, it goes to show you how valuable, obviously, a quarterback is when Seattle's missing Russell Wilson. A couple more minutes with Larry Holder. He's on Twitter at Larry Holder. Let me ask about Will Lutz. Can you walk us through they've activated from PUP. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to play against Seattle. Can you walk us through that process and what the expectation is here for the next 3 weeks?
Right. They can monitor him and kind of have him back in the field, kicking and ready to go and have a window. Now, they can pull him off that window anytime they really want to, but they have a window to do so. And by the signing of the other kicker, Brian Johnson, I think that's his name, you're going to have to keep him on the team for 3 weeks. So that gives you a 3-week window if you have to do that. But look, Lutz can maybe get healthier quicker. They like what they see, and then they move on from him. But he does not have to necessarily come back this week. And I'm not going to discount it, but if you're signing someone off of another team's practice squad, I'm assuming he's going to have to kick at least one game for you. And if Lutz gets healthy, you make him that guy healthy and active for a couple weeks, and then you cut him. But yeah, I would assume that Lutz is not totally ready to go yet.
Saints carrying 2 kickers. That's going to be wild, man. It's amazing how they've managed to bubblegum and duct tape this thing together so far. But it's really exciting for the second half. Anybody else, Larry, that you're keenly interested in this week among the players who had been missing that could well return for this game?
You're going to throw something at me through the airwaves if I say Traquan Smith? Are you going to throw something at me? I think you are.
All right,
I think he's the closest one to get there. I think he's the closest one to be actually healthy and play. So that's why I mentioned him.
Okay.
I'm curious to see when McCoy comes back, look, I kept getting a sense that he might be able to return after this bye week. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I thought that was the timetable that I had been told that he could be able to come back at this point. And it's good that you're not having guys, they're not on IR and this, that, and the other. So, they want them to come back, but, they've been having to kind of bite it with them. But I think that Traquan Smith, I would assume, would be back this week. I don't know where Taysom Hill is in concussion protocol, but obviously if he's ready to go, you put him back in there and you play him, and that helps your team in some aspects. Just don't have him throw the ball to the moon and then it gets picked off. But as far as offensive line, I'm curious to see how far we get with McCoy this week.
Okay. And no Armstead, you don't think?
That's not what I'm hearing yet, but
okay.
Look, I don't know. Maybe they're tight-lipped, and we'll see what happens with Armstead. But the fact that these guys are not long-term injury guys, and they've kind of been able to survive without them, like you said, I think that's an encouraging aspect that we've seen.
Actually, I just saw this on Twitter from Nick Underhill. Quan Alexander, Marcus Davenport, Traquan Smith, since we've been talking, all been designated to return from IR. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll play this week, but they have a 21-day window to be activated. So they all could return this week. Any of those three, aside, well, you said Traquan, would you expect Quan or Davenport to play this week on Monday Night Football?
I'm thinking Quan and maybe Davenport. I think if you're activating them this early, that you're probably giving yourself have them a chance to get back in the field and see if they're ready to go. But as far as someone like Quan, do you necessarily need him right away? You like what you've seen from Pete Werner, but hey, a healthy Quan Alexander helps you. And then Marcus Davenport, you can certainly use him. Their pass rush has not been very good overall, even in pass pressure or sacks, you name it. So the fact that they're activating them this early in the week should give you some at least positive momentum that they could play. But again, this isn't guaranteed. I mean, we'll get a better gauge going later in the week when we start seeing practice reports and who's doing what.
Saints play the Seahawks Monday Night Football as they're coming off the bye at 3-2. He's Larry Holder. Read his stuff, theathletic.com/New Orleans, and he's on Twitter @Larry Holder. Thanks as always for the time, man. Be well.
All right, Matthew. Good talking to you, buddy.